Hello and welcome to another tutorial on my YouTube channel. On this video I will show you how to crochet this little bee. This tutorial made especially for beginners. I will follow step by step, go slowly and explain firmly how to do everything. Please subscribe my channel and feel free to check my channel for many more free tutorials. So let's get started. What materials you need? You need black, white and yellow 5-ply milk cotton yarn. You can use any other yarn as long as it fits the crochet hook that you are using. You will need a 3mm crochet hook, you will need a needle, stitch marker, black thin yarn or a thread. You will need a pair of scissors and some stuffing. If you want it as a keychain, you can also use a keychain and just put it on top of the bee. So let's start. We are going to start with the body, so take your yellow color and we start with a magic circle. I will show you one time how we do it. You take your yarn, you do like a circle, take the end of the yarn and bring it through the circle. Now you turn around and you hold with your left hand here with both pieces of yarn like that. Now you take your crochet hook and bring it through the circle. Now you yarn over, go through the circle, one loop on your hook, yarn over and go through this loop. And here is our magic circle. And for row 1 we're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic circle. So how you do a single crochet? You take your hook through the circle, you yarn over, go through the circle, you have 2 loops on your hook, you yarn over and go through both loops. So that's 1 single crochet. Let's do 6. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now you take the end of the yarn and you pull like that. So here is our first row and we have 6 single crochets around. You take your stitch marker and you put it into the last stitch that you make. The loop that's on your hook doesn't count, so you just move it a little and then you can see the last stitch before this loop. So it's this one. You take your stitch marker and bring it through like that. Now, when we get to the stitch with the stitch marker, we know that it's the last stitch of the row. Okay, so for row 2, we are going to make 6 increases, which means 2 single crochets into the same stitch for total 6 times. So how we make the increase? Okay, so you go into the first stitch, is here. If you don't know where is your first stitch, you can just count from the back. You don't count the loop that's on your hook, so you count the stitches. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you know that this is the 6th stitch, so you go with your hook inside this 6th stitch like that. Then you yarn over, go through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through. So that's a single crochet, but we want an increase. For an increase, we need another 1 single crochet into the first stitch, same stitch. So you take your hook into this same stitch, you yarn over, go through the stitch. Now 2 loops on the hook, you yarn over and go through both loops. So we made our first increase. Let's do it together again. You go into the next stitch and you make 2 single crochets into this same stitch. So that's 1, and into the same stitch another single crochet. That's 2. So we made our second increase. Now you go into the next stitch and do 2 single crochets. That's 1, and another single crochet into the same stitch. We made 3 increases. Next single crochet. Again you make 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So we made 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So that's 4. Next stitch, make 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. So now we made 5, and for our last stitch here we need to take out the stitch marker and make the last increase into this last stitch. So make 2 single crochets into this last stitch. Okay, now we finished row 2. We have 12 stitches around. Now you can take this tail and pull tight like that. Take your stitch marker and put it back into the last stitch that we made. You don't count the loop that's on your hook. You go to the last stitch before that and you put your stitch marker inside like that. Now for row 3 we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then an increase into the second stitch, and we're going to repeat it 6 times until we get to the stitch marker. So let's do it together. You go into the first stitch and you make a single crochet. You go into the next stitch and you make 2 single crochets, which means an increase. So that's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. For now we did the single crochet and then an increase. Now you go into the next stitch and you do a single crochet. Next stitch, make 2 single crochets. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, make a single crochet. Next stitch, make an increase. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, make a single crochet. next stitch 2 single crochets, 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, make a single crochet. Next stitch, make an increase. Next stitch, make a single crochet. And now we go to the stitch with the stitch marker. You take it out and you want to do an increase into the last stitch. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So we finished row 3 and we have 18 stitches around. Now you take your stitch marker and you put it at the last stitch that you made. For row 4, we are going to do single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the second stitch, and then an increase into the third stitch, and we will repeat it for total 6 times until we get to the stitch marker. So let's do it together. Single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the second stitch, and an increase into the third stitch, which means 2 single crochets into the same stitch. That's 1 and 2. Again, we start with a single crochet on the next stitch, single crochet on the next stitch, and an increase into the next stitch. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Let's continue the same way that we did. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and an increase into the next stitch. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and an increase, 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and an increase into the next stitch. We have one more time to go, so single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and last stitch you need to take out the stitch marker and make the last increase. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So now we finished row 4 and we have 24 stitches around. You take your stitch marker and put it at the last stitch that you made. And now for row 5, we're going to do single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the second stitch, single crochet into the third stitch, and an increase into the fourth stitch, and we're going to repeat it 6 times until we get to the stitch marker. So you go into the first stitch and you do a single crochet. Next stitch, you do a single crochet. Next stitch, you do a single crochet. Next stitch, you're going to do an increase. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Let's do it again. Single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next stitch. And an increase into the next stitch. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, you make a single crochet. Next stitch, you make a single crochet. Next stitch, a single crochet. And the fourth stitch, you make an increase. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, a single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. And the fourth stitch, make an increase. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, you make a single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. And fourth stitch, make an increase. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So we have one more time. Make single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next stitch. And we go to the stitch with the stitch marker, which is our last stitch of the row. Take it out and make an increase. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. We finished row 5 and we have 30 stitches around. Now you take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that you made. Now we finished increasing and we're going to make another one row with 30 single crochets around, which means one single crochet in each stitch for 30 stitches until we get to the stitch marker. So let's do it together. You go into the next stitch, which is the first stitch, and you make a single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Keep going like that all the way around. Just one single crochet in each stitch. Just keep going the same way, one single crochet in each stitch. I will meet you here before I finish the row. So I continued doing one single crochet in each stitch, and now I go to the stitch with the stitch marker. Now we are going to change color. So you take out the stitch marker, and on this last stitch you take your hook into the stitch, you yarn over, go through the stitch. Now when you have 2 loops on your hook, you're going to take your black color and do like that, and with your hook go through those 2 loops. I will show you again. So you take your hook into the last stitch, you yarn over, you go through the stitch, and when you have 2 loops on your hook, you take your black yarn and you go with the hook through those 2 loops, like that. Now you want to pull the yellow and the black so it will be tight. Okay, so now we finished row 6 and we have 30 stitches around. For row 7, 8 and 9, which are 3 rows, we're going to use the black yarn and do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. 1 second. So you take your stitch marker and put it inside this yellow last stitch. And now we are going to single crochet with the black color. You leave the yellow color like that, and the next row we will cut the end of the tail. So you go into the next stitch, which is the first, and you do a single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Next stitch, a single crochet. Next stitch, a single crochet, and you just keep going the same way, 1 single crochet into each stitch around until you get to the stitch marker. We will do it 3 rows, but I will show you row by row how we finish and continue a new row. So keep going, 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I will continue and meet you here before I finish the row. So I continued 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and now I'm about to finish the row. I'm at the last stitch with stitch marker, so you take out the stitch marker and you make the last single crochet into this last yellow stitch. So we finished now row 7, and again we have 30 stitches around. Now you take your stitch marker and you put it into the last stitch that you made. The loop that's on your hook doesn't count, so you go 1 stitch back, and here is your last stitch. Now for next row we're going to repeat the same as we did the last row and just do 1 single crochet in each stitch around until we get to the stitch marker. Now I want to show you how to cut the yellow color that we have. So you go into the first stitch and you do a single crochet. Now just pull your hook like that and take it out. You're going to take your scissors and cut the yellow yarn. Leave some tail because now we're going to make 2 knots with the black and yellow colors, end of the yarns. So you just do 2 knots and pull tight like that. That's 1, and another knot. Pull tight. Now it's safe and won't be able to open. Now you can go back and continue 1 single crochet in each stitch around until we get to the stitch marker. So next stitch is a single crochet, next stitch single crochet, all the way around. So keep going and I will meet you here before I finish the row. Just continue 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So I'm about to finish the row. I'm at the last stitch here with the stitch marker. So you take it out and just make a single crochet into this last stitch. That's how it looks like for now. So we finished row number 8 and again we have 30 stitches around. Now before we continue to the next row, we're going to insert the safety eyes. So just pull the yarn like that and take out the hook. So you take your safety eyes and you want to insert them between rows 4 and 5. So let's count. The first row is this circle that we made with the 6 stitches. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. So we want to insert them between rows 4 and 5. So you take 1 eye and you put it anywhere between those rows. Now we want 8 stitches in between the eyes. So you start count to the left. That's 1, 2, those little holes are the stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you want to put it in the 9th stitch, so we will have 8 stitches in between. And you bring it inside like that. If you can't see the stitches, you can just bring your finger through from the inside and pull like that, and then you can see all those holes. Each hole is a stitch. So you count 8 and then put the second eye into the 9th stitch. So now we want to close them with those plastic washers. So you turn around and you want to close them with the right side, which is like that. So that's 1. You take your second one and close like that. So here are the eyes. That's how it looks like for now. So now we are going to continue. And you take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that you made. And now we're going to make one more row of 30 stitches around, which means again 1 single crochet in each stitch until we get to the stitch marker. So single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Keep going this way, 1 single crochet in each stitch around, but don't finish the row. Wait 1 stitch before you finish with the stitch marker stitch. I mean just the 29 single crochets because we are going to change the color at the last row, at the last stitch of the row. So keep going 1 single crochet and I will meet you before we finish the row to change the color. Okay, so I just continued 1 single crochet in each stitch and I'm about to finish the row. For the last stitch you take out the stitch marker and we are going to change color on this last stitch of the row. So you take your hook into this last stitch, you yarn over and go through the stitch. Now when you have 2 loops on the hook, you're going to take the yellow color and with your hook you go through both stitches with the yellow yarn. Now you want to pull the black color and the yellow, so it will be tight. And now we're going to continue with the yellow color. So you take your stitch marker and you put it into the last stitch that we made, which was the black one. And now we're going to go 1 single crochet in each stitch around until you get to the stitch marker. So let's do it. Single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Keep going like that all the way. 1 single crochet in each stitch around until you get to the stitch marker, and I will continue and meet you here before I will finish the row. Okay, so I continued 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and now I'm at the last stitch where is the stitch marker. So you take out the stitch marker and make the last single crochet into the last stitch. So now we finished row 10 and again we have 30 stitches around. You take your stitch marker and put it back inside the last stitch that you made. Like that. For next row, row number 11, we're going to do the same thing, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Let's do 1 single crochet now and then I will show you again how we cut the black color and we finish with it. So you go into the first stitch and you do a single crochet. Now pull like that and take your scissors and cut the black yarn. Leave a small tail so we will make 2 knots with the yellow and yarn. So here your yellow and black yarn and you're going to make 2 knots and pull tight. So that's 1 and another knot, that's 2, and just put it inside. Now you go back and you continue 1 single crochet in each stitch around until we get to the stitch marker. Let's do few together. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and just keep going the same way. I will meet you before I finish the row. Just do 1 single crochet in each stitch. Okay, so I continued 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and now I got here to the last stitch. take out the stitch marker and make the last single crochet. So we finished row 11 and we have 30 stitches around. Now you take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that you made. Now for the next row we're going to repeat like we did at the last round and do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. That will be again total 30 stitches, and we continue until we get to the stitch marker. So just do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you before I finish the row. Make sure you don't do the last single crochet because we're going to change color again. So I'm about to finish the row. I have the last stitch here. So you take out the stitch marker, and on this last stitch now we're going to change the color again. So you take your crochet hook through the stitch, you yarn over and go through. Now when you have 2 loops on the hook, you want to take the black color and like that you're gonna go between those 2 stitches. Now you want to take this yellow yarn and pull tight, also the black yarn pull tight, and we're going to work now with the black color. So now for row 13 we're going to make again 30 single crochets, which means 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and we're going to make the same for 3 more rows. So take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch, which is the last yellow stitch that we made, and you're gonna work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So just keep going 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you before we finish the row here. So I'm about to finish the row. I have the last stitch, so I take out the stitch marker and do the last single crochet into this last stitch. Now we finished row 13 and we have 30 stitches around. Take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that you made. Now for the next row we're going to work the same, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So let's do 1 single crochet, and then you want to cut the yellow yarn. So you pull like that and take out your hook. Take your scissors and cut the yellow yarn. Leave a small tail so we can make 2 knots with the yellow and black ends of yarn. So just make 2 knots. That's 1. That's 2. And you go back and continue 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Keep going until you finish the row, until you get to the stitch marker, and I will meet you here before I finish the row. Okay, so I'm about to finish the row. Last stitch, you take out the stitch marker and do a single crochet. Now we finished row number 14 and we have 30 stitches around. Take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that you made. Now for row 15 we're going to work Again, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Let's do few together. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, just like that all the way. Make sure you continue and you finish at your 29th stitch and you don't finish the row because we're going to change color at the 30th and last row. So just keep going 1 single crochet in each stitch around and stop before you get to the stitch marker, and I will meet you before I finish the row to change the color. Okay, so I'm about to finish the row. I'm at the last stitch, so you take out the stitch marker and you take your hook into this last stitch, you yarn over, go through the stitch, and now you're going to take the yellow color and with the yellow color you're going to go through those 2 loops with a hook, like that. Now you want to put the black color and the yellow color, so it will be tight, and then we continue. So take your stitch marker and put it at the last stitch that you made, which is the last black color stitch. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around with this yellow yarn. So you go into the first stitch and make a single crochet, next stitch single crochet, next stitch single crochet, all the way around. Keep going the same way, and I will meet you before I finish the row. Just do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So I'm about to finish the row. I have the last stitch here, so you take out the stitch marker and you're going to make 1 single crochet into this last stitch. Okay. So now we finished row 16 and we have 30 stitches around. You take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that we made. Now, for the next row, we're going to start decreasing. So we're going to make single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the second stitch, single crochet in the third stitch, and then a decrease. And we're going to repeat it for total 6 times. So first, let's do the first single crochet into the next stitch, the first stitch, and then you pull like that, and we're going to finish with the black color. So take your scissors and just cut the yarn. Now you take the black and the yellow ends of yarn and you're going to make 2 knots. Pull tight, that's 1, and another knot, that's 2. And you want to put it inside, like that. Now you go back and continue. So we made 1 single crochet. You go into the second stitch and make another single crochet, single crochet. You go into the third stitch and you make another single crochet. Now we're going to make a decrease. How we do it? You take your hook into the next stitch, you yarn over and go through the stitch. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. You go into the next stitch, yarn over, go through the stitch. Now we have 3 loops. You yarn over and go through all those 3 stitches. So that's a decrease, which means we made 1 single crochet out of 2 single crochets. So for now we made single crochet, single crochet, single crochet and a decrease. So we're going to repeat that for total 6 times. So let's do again. Single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the second stitch, single crochet in the third stitch, and then a decrease. I will show you again how to do it. You take your hook into the next stitch, you yarn over and go through the stitch. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. You go into the next stitch, you yarn over and go through the stitch. Now we have 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over and go through all those 3 loops. So we did it one more time. Let's continue all the way. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and a decrease. Again, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and then make a decrease. Okay, next stitch, single crochet, next stitch, single crochet, next stitch, single crochet, and a decrease. Next stitch, single crochet, next stitch, single crochet, next stitch, single crochet, and for the last decrease you take out the stitch marker and you're going to make a decrease. Okay, so we finished row number 17 and we have 24 stitches around. Take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that you made. For the next row, we're going to make single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the second stitch, and then a decrease. And we're going to repeat it for total 6 times until we get to the stitch marker. So, single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet into the second stitch, and a decrease. Again, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and a decrease. Again, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and a decrease. Single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and a decrease. Single crochet, single crochet, decrease. And one more time, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and for the last decrease you take your stitch marker out and make the last decrease. Okay, so we finished row 18, yes, and we have 18 stitches around. Now you pull like that and you take out your hook, and we're going to put some stuffing. That's how our bee is looking like for now. And you want to put stuffing into your bee. You put as much as you can, just make sure that it doesn't feel too much and there are no holes inside your work. That's how it looks like for now, and I think I put enough stuffing, and now I want to continue. So take your hook and stitch marker into the last stitch that we made. And now for row number 19, we're going to make single crochet into the first stitch and then a decrease. We're going to repeat it for total 6 times until we get to the stitch marker. So let's do it together. Single crochet into the first stitch and a decrease. Make sure with this finger you hold the stuffing inside so you don't pull some stuffing while you crochet. So next stitch, make a single crochet. Next stitch, make a decrease. Next stitch, make a single crochet. And the next stitch, make a decrease. Next stitch, make a single crochet. Next, you make a decrease. Next, you make a single crochet. Next, you make a decrease. Next, you make a single crochet. And now you take out your stitch marker for the last decrease. Okay. So now we finished row 19 and we have 12 stitches around. You take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that we made. For row number 20 and last, we're going to make 6 increases. So you begin with a decrease, and keep doing total 6 decreases. So we made 1, 2, 3. Now we stop and we can put some more stuffing if we need. So just pull like that, put more stuffing, and then we need to do 3 more decreases. So take back your hook and continue 3 more decreases. When it gets smaller, it also gets difficult. But slowly, slowly, and you can make it. 2 more decreases. And for the last decrease, you take the stitch marker out and make the last decrease. Like that. So now we're going to finish off. You take your hook into the next stitch and make a slip stitch, which means yarn over, go through the stitch and straight into the loop that's on your hook. Then you chain 1, you yarn over and go through the stitch, the loop that's on your hook. Then you take your scissors, cut your yarn, make sure you leave enough tail to sew and close the little hole that's left for us. Here. Now you want to take your needle and take the end of the yarn through, like that. Now we have 6 stitches around here, this last row. What we're going to do now is take your needle and go through each of them from the outside to the inside, and you pick only the front loop. Look, there are 2 loops in each stitch, front loop and back loop. So we want to take only the front loop. If it's too difficult for you to find the front loop, you can just take the stitch all together and go through. So you take your needle into the first stitch and you go through from the outside into the inside of the circle, like that. Next stitch, next stitch from the outside to the inside, that's 3. Next stitch, that's 4. Next stitch, that's 5. and the last stitch, that's 6. Now you're going to pull tight like that, and that's how we close the hole here. That's how it looks for now. Now you want to hide your yarn, so you go into the body with your needle and out of the body, one stitch in between, doesn't really matter where. And when you have a small loop here, you take your needle and go through the stitch and you pull. Now you want to hide your yarn, so bring it into the body and out from a different place of the body. Pull slowly until you see that here it's like a part of the body. And now you take your scissors and cut this end of yarn. So that's the body. Now we're going to make the wings, and we're going to use the white yarn. And we want to start with a magic circle. So now for row 1, we're going to make 7 single crochets into the magic circle. So you take your hook into the magic circle, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, go through 2 loops. So that's 1, let's make 7. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. That's 6. That's 7. Now you take this end of yarn and pull. So we finished row 1 and we have 7 stitches around. You take your stitch marker and put it into the last stitch that we made. Now for row 2 we are going to make 7 increases. So you go into the first stitch. If you don't know where is your first stitch, you count from the back 7 stitches. You don't count the loop that's on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you take your hook into this 7th stitch. And you're going to make 2 single crochets into the same stitch. That's 1 and 2. So that's an increase. We're going to repeat it for total 7 times. So you made once. Now next stitch you make an increase. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, make an increase, that's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, an increase, 1 and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Next stitch, increase, 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Next stitch, make an increase, that's 1 and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And last stitch, you take out the stitch marker and you make an increase. So 1 and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Now you can take the tail and pull like that. So now we're going to finish off, which means we're going to make a slip stitch. So you take your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, go through the stitch, and straight into the loop that's on your hook. Now you chain 1 and you're going to cut your yarn, leave tail to sew the wing to the body of the bee. Now you pull tight like that, and here is one wing which gonna go here. So now you go and repeat this and make another one wing. Just stop the video, take your yarn, white color, make 7 single crochets into a magic ring and then 7 increases. If you need to watch again, just go back the time and look at the video to do it again. I will meet you when I have 2 wings ready. Okay, so I just finished making 2 wings. Now there are 2 yarns, the long one that we want to sew it with and the small one which left from the magic circle we made. So we want to hide those we made from the magic circle. So you take your needle and bring it through and just hide it between the stitches. Bring it out and cut the yarn. Now you want to make the same to the second wing. Just go into the stitches and bring it out. And cut this piece of yarn also. So now we want to sew them onto the body of the bee. We want to sew them on this yellow part, one next to the other. Make sure that it's in the middle between the eyes. So you take your needle and we start with one of the wings, like that. You bring it through the needle. Now you place one of them. Here I think it's a great place. And you want to start and sew it to the body. So you take your needle and bring into the same place between the yellow and the black color, exactly where we change the color, and you bring it out 1 stitch next to it. Then you want to pull like that. Now you go into the next stitch of the white wing and you go from under to the top of the wing, and you bring through. Then you pull tight. Now you go into the body. Make sure that it's at the same row that you put the last one in. So you take your needle inside the body and out of the body at the changing color between the yellow and the black. Here. And you pull like that. Now one more time, you take your needle from the bottom of the wing, from the back to the top of the wing, at the next stitch, like that, and you pull. That's how it looks like. Now you take your needle and go into the body and just bring it to the back of the bee and pull. Just take it out of here. So that's one wing. Now we're going to put the second one, to sew the second one. Don't cut this one, we will use it to make 2 knots with the tail of the second wing. So now you take the second wing and you take the end of the yarn and go through the needle like that. Again, you place the second wing here in this yellow part, and you want to go into the body exactly at the changing color between the yellow and the black, and out of the body. And you want to pull tight like that. Now needle at the next stitch of the wing, from the bottom to the top or from the back to the front, just the same, and you pull tight. Now you make sure you go straight the same row into the body and out of the body between the changing color of the yellow and the black, like that, and you pull tight. Now take your needle into the next stitch of the wing from the bottom to the top and you pull. Then straight out and out from the same place we took out the last white yarn, like that, and you pull tight. Now you take those 2 yarns and you're going to make 2 knots. 1 and 2. Now you take your scissors and you want to cut the yarn like that. Then you have this small left. You take the back of the needle and you just take it inside the body and hide it like that. So here is our bee. Now we just need to add the mouth. You don't have to, but I think it looks cuter. So you cut a small piece of yarn and You bring it through the needle like that. Now we want to place it before we really use and sew it on. So we want it like that. So I want to take my needle and bring it through here and out of here. And you pull until you have a small left yarn here, like that. Now you take your needle through the same place that we began here, and you take it out between this and this, 2 rows down. And then you pull like that. And now you take the needle and bring it through the same place you put this inside. So you go here and you take it out from the same place we started here. And pull slowly, slowly. That's how it looks like. Now you take those 2 pieces of yarn and do 2 knots. 1 and 2. You take the scissors and you cut those 2 ends of yarn, and with the end of the needle you put it inside. וואלה. טוב, לכי. Like that. I'm sorry it took too long. I first tried to get it in a different stitch, that's why it didn't work. So here is our bee. I hope it helped you and you liked it. Please subscribe if you still didn't, and good luck for the next projects.